Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Vihari Kunda Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Girivarada Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Navarati Ravanakari Yamunati Ravanakari Jaya Radha Madhava Vihari Kundaveya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Radha Vrindavan Chandra Radhe. Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Radha Vrindavan Chandra. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga. Srinivasa Govinda, Sri Venkatesa Govinda, Venkataramana Govinda, Srinivasa Govinda. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमा ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you. Because this is a month of Srila Prabhupada's Marathon book distribution, I thought something relevant to that we will speak today. Today morning, in the Japata, we were discussing one very important point about how the respect for the Supreme Personality of Godhead is one thing that is the most essential aspect in spiritual life. Sometimes we jump into the sweetness of the Lord, how He is driving the chariot of Arjuna. Prabhupada says in spiritual world, Krishna doesn't drive anybody's chariot. Prabhupada says in spiritual world, Krishna is the master. Everybody else is a servant. But occasionally he drives the chariot of his devotee, Arjuna. Prabhupada says in one of his lectures. Just like a president of a country or a prime minister of a country, do you think every day he will take his son to school by becoming his horse? Do you think? Huh? Does he do that? Once in a while when he plays, he becomes subordinate to his uh, son by being carried on his back. He does like that. So the Lord becoming subordinate to his devotee out of love, and Lord eager to take instructions from his devotee and executing those instructions. Sometimes that gives some kind of pleasure to the Lord, because he is in a more exalted position, even when he is apparently becoming a subordinate. His supremacy is never lost. It is always present. That Prabhupada writes in the Bhagavad Gita. So, and therefore, when we are frivolous, when we are mischievous, when we are conditioned, when we are deviated, when we are crazy and lazy in spiritual life, the thing that is most essential is understanding the Lord's position, His supremacy, His greatness, and our insignificance. If this is not understood, then the Lord's becoming subordinate to his devotee is taken very cheaply, very frivolously. And it doesn't touch the heart of the practitioner. Rather, it makes the practitioner take spiritual life very cheaply. When Prabhupada went to the West, this is one of the things that he emphasizes very strongly. The very early day lectures, if you hear Prabhupada is saying, Raja Vedya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Yidamuttamam Pratyakshabagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartumavyayam. This is one verse Prabhupada quotes often. He says that the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is king of knowledge, he says. And it is Raja Guhyam, he says. It's a king of all secrets. So Lord says the knowledge of Gita is mystical and it is very confidential, he says. Why is it very confidential? Because even great scholars will fumble. Like Dr. Radheshyam or anybody else, Prabhupada says. There was another great Swami, Prabhupada says. This Swami is saying that, why do you have to go to temples to look for God? Don't you see God is loitering in the streets? Like that, this big Swami who is so famous in India, the old Swami, he spoke like this. So, and not only that, he says, I have not come here to tell you all that I am God. Every one of you is God. Like that he speaks. And many students nod their head and say, wonderful. The Swamiji is so considerate, he has agreed that we are also God. He is making a fool out of himself and making a fool out of others. Prabhupada says, what nonsense is he talking? He doesn't know who Bhagavan is. Bhagavan actually has created millions of universes. He's a supreme controller. He is controlling the sun and the moon. He is controlling the wind and the rains. He is controlling the movement of all living entities. He is keeping track of the karma of all living beings, awarding them, their respective fruits. He knows which body has to be allotted to which living entity. He is jnana, bala, aishwarya, teja, shakti, virya. These are qualities which Lord possesses in oceanic proportion. His knowledge is unfathomable. And his strength is unfathomable. His riches are unfathomable. And his controllership and his witness, nobody can match that. Where is Bhagavan? So, Prabhupada says that this aspect of Lord being the greatest and the Jiva being the insignificant, most insignificant. This fact is a reality even in the Shrutis. We read Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman. Vidadhati means maintains. So that's one supreme is maintaining plural subordinates. So Prabhupada says, what is the difference between master and servant? He says, the servant depends on the master for his maintenance. And the master protects him, maintains him, and supplies him all his goods for the subordinate. And the master is great, and the subordinate is small, and the subordinate is sheltered by the master when the subordinate helplessly seeks the shelter of the master. So Prabhupada explains this very thoroughly, this kind of knowledge. He says that, um, and also Krishna says, Bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hetadutama. I am telling you the Gita, which is actually rahasyam. Rahasyam means it's a great secret. Guhyam means very confidential, he says. And I am telling you why? Because you are my Bhakta and Sakha, he says. So what is the meaning of Bhakta and Sakha? You are favorably disposed to me. Therefore, I will reveal the truth to you. Now, what is the meaning of favorably disposed? Um, Actually, the subordinate should be always interested in aligning with the will of the superior. And also, the subordinate should always make an effort to please the superior. So, like for example, Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna and is looking for Krishna's will. What is Krishna's will and how I can align with it? And finally, he aligned himself with it. Karishye vachanam tava. That is, he's aligning with Krishna's will. And he knew that, okay, I will align with his will, not only just aligning in mind, but I will act according to his will and bring pleasure to him. So he acted as a warrior on behalf of Krishna, established dharma and destroyed adharma and brought pleasure to the heart of Krishna. So this is actually the duty of subordinate, which Arjuna very perfectly fulfilled. And also Krishna was willing to reveal more and more truths about himself and about his creation, about the meaning of life, purpose of life, goal of life. Everything he reveals. You will see that. And the truth is not revealed to one who is not aligned or not submissive or not making an effort to give pleasure to Lord. You will see that in business also, a businessman empowers his subordinate depending on how much he considers his subordinate as his inside man. If he thinks, he is totally loyal to me, he will not cheat me, he has not cheated or looted, he has not acted mischievously, he is aligned with my will and he is also making an effort to understand what I want and he is fulfilling, then he will reveal more and more business secrets to him, correct, no? And he will hand over charges to him, he will hand over business to him, he will empower him, he will make him do wonderful things. Like Krishna empowered Arjuna, Lord Rama empowered Hanuman, you will find that. In this way, Lord Chaitanya empowered many of his representatives like Goswamis and others. So the Lord's pleasure comes out from the Lord in the form of empowerment of his devotees. Lord empowered Chaitanya, Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur to go and do wonders and preaching. Right now, so that empowerment is a manifestation of Lord's pleasure. That Lord is pleased with the devotee and he feels that, oh, this person is exactly acting as I would want to act. Like Prabhupada said, speak as I have spoken and do as I have done. So then one becomes an empowered representative who has practically zero resistance. Like a superconductor passes all the electricity without any resistance. Similarly, one becomes a vehicle for carrying the Lord's mercy and transmitting it to the suffering souls by becoming a via media of the Guru Parampara. Correct, no? Yeah. So this way, you will see that Raja Vidya, it is the king of all knowledge. This knowledge what we are talking just now. Raja Guhyam. The sambandha between Lord and the devotee, the sweet relationship, which we are talking just now. This is actually the sum and substance of Bhagavad Gita. And it's pavitram. It's very holy, he says. And that holiness of the Lord is one very vital knowledge taught in the scripture. What makes anything at all in this world holy? Like, for example, the Ganga is holy, the dhams are holy, the sages and saints are holy, sacred books are holy, name is holy, names of the Lord, holy name we call it. Prasadam is holy. So what makes all these things holy? The Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord himself is the holiest of the holy persons, purest of the pure. So And His presence in all these items which I told you, that is what makes them holy. Otherwise, if He is taken cheaply, then, or if somebody says God and soul are same, Atma so Paramatma, some people say that. That means you are flattening the holy. You are making the holiest of the holy, bring him to ground like you and me. We have four defects. We have committing errors, and we have inability, insanity, committing errors, cheating. These tendencies are there in a conditioned soul. In Lord, they are absent, completely absent. He is completely vishuddham. And therefore, it says asnaviram shuddham apapavidham. It is said. Kavir manishi paribhu swayambhu yada tatyatortan jadachashvati vyasamaviha. Ishvara Krishna says that. Saparyagat shukramakayam avranam asnaviram shuddham apapavidham. So it's completely shuddham, like the sun is shuddham. Now the sun absorbs urine. Does it get polluted? No. But it purifies the place, and the sun also doesn't get polluted. So Lord is supremely pure. He can purify Kubja, He can purify the demons, He can purify unclean jivas, but He doesn't get impure. He always remains pure, supremely pure. It's very amazing. Sun can purify a place and take away the impure effects of the urine by making it by its antiseptic properties. And at the same time, sun remains pure. So that's the nature of the Lord. Pavitram. He says, yeah. And then he says, Uttamam, beyond darkness. Where there is understanding of the Lord, there cannot be any ignorance. Now, why these fellows, greatest of the learned persons, also speak foolishly about the Lord, thinking of Him to be equal? That means they are in the high, bottommost regions of ignorance. Their intellectual titillation and their popularity is only because of some Purva Janma Punya they have done. Just like politicians, you see, sometimes they do atrocity. There was one politician who used to be so atrocious, so religious. He lived till 98 or something like that. 97, 98. People would say, why don't you die early? Isn't it? Just like Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, these kind of fellows sometimes live long, and they also create so much havoc also, correct, no? So sometimes they have a long ayush because of the Purva Janma Punya, and now they have become atrocious, for which they are going to suffer now when they finish their term now. After that, they have to suffer. They will be taken to a special place for suffering for all these atrocious activities. But just because a nonsense person is shining doesn't make him any great. Therefore, in Bhagavatam, there is a verse which says, Svavidvarahaushtrakarehi samstuta purusha pashuhu na yat karano patopeto jatu nama gadagrajaha. That verse says, four names it's giving. Shva, Vid, Varaha, Ushtra, Karehi. Prabhupada has given elaborate purport to this. Shva means which one? Dog. Shwan, they call it. No? Shva is dog. Vidvaraha means hogs. Ushtra means camel. And Karehi, asses. So each of them, Prabhupada explains. Like for example, the dog, he says, of course, dog is a loyal animal, but the dog requires a master. He has to, so Prabhupada says in that purport, modern day education has made human beings into dogs. He says, why? Because they are carrying a degree in their mouth and going door to door. Sir, is there a job? And company people say, no, there is unemployment, get lost. There's no seat. Okay, they run to the next company. Sir, do you have a job for me? Prabhupada says, why do you have to ask anyone for a job? He says that you yourself can do so much and that you can give engagement to others. Therefore, you'll find in ISKCON, whether you are Grihastha or Brahmachari, there are examples of people who threw away the company job. Some of them threw away even the degrees also. And they are studying Gita Bhagavatam. Then they are leading a very peaceful, blissful life. And like you see, Revati Raman Prabhu was working in a company in Singapore. He got a copy of Bhagavad Gita. Within a very short time, he decided that this is the knowledge. He came to India, and then got initiated by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, and then decided to dedicate his life. So then he was given a project, go to Tirupati, and there was an empty land. So he saw the land, and then he made a blueprint and plan for a lotus temple. And he designed the temple. He started cultivating people, increasing the devotees gradually. And a beautiful lotus temple came. Now there are 400, 500 people connected to the project now. And then there are multiple satellite centers have come, village projects, and so many things have come from there. And he and his wife, he doesn't go to any company. He is himself offering seva engagements to hundreds of people, thousands of people. You can see like that. So, in the same manner, many brahmacharis. So, our culture, Brahminical culture, teaches that you stand on your own leg, be self-reliant. Huh? Don't take your degree in the mouth and go door to door. Huh? Is there a job for me, sir? No, get lost. Huh? Go to the next door. There is one verse in the Bhagavatam, in the Puranjana Upakhyan, you will read that. I'll just show you that verse. That is relevant. Here he says, you can read this verse. Kshutparito yata dinaha स्वारमेयो गृहं गृहं चरन् विन्दति यद्दिष्टं दण्डमोदनमेव वा तथा कामाशयो जीव उच्चावच पथा भ्रमन् उपर्यधो वा मध्ये वा यादृदिष्टं प्रिया प्रियम्. Is the translation?
Translation: the living entity is exactly like a dog who, overcome with hunger, goes from door to door for some food. According to his destiny, he sometimes receives punishment and is driven out, driven out, and at other times receives a little food to eat. Similarly, the living entity, being influenced by so many desires, wanders in different species of life according to destiny. Sometimes he is high and sometimes he is low. Sometimes he goes to the heavenly planets, sometimes to hell, sometimes to the middle planets, and so on.
Yeah. So, there was one devotee here living very close to NVCC. At that time, there was no NVCC temple in those days. He was living in this locality. So, currently, he's living in that Gaganonati, correct? No? The three big buildings are there. So now he has become like a rich man. He has 2, 3 sisters and family living there. So he was telling me, Prabhuji, I was living in this locality only. I was born in a slum, he said. He said, surrounded by dirty jopdipatti slums, and there will be dogs barking, mosquitoes and chal and everything. I was born in that place, no education also. We went to school for 3, 4, 5 years we went. After fourth, fifth standard, there was no education. Everybody used to live like a dog. Horrible life in that dirty place. Some or other, I saw the devotees doing Harinam Sankirtan. They were distributing books. I purchased some Prabhupada's books. I started reading and I started understanding. And I saw the temple came in this side. In a new big temple came. I started coming to temple. He said my life changed like anything. I started I moved out of that slum area. Went to another place, took a house, and then started coming to temple. Led a clean life. I gave a bad association. Started associating with devotees, joined a counselor meeting. I grew up. And he said, I tried to do some education, but I didn't get any big education. Fifth or sixth standard, something like that I did. Then later on he said, he learned the pandal, how people put pandal during the festivals and all. He went to some of this Ganapati, this thing, and all pandal people he met and found out. He learned the technique from them. He said, I started my own pandal business. I started. And he said, monthly now I am earning 4 to 5 lakhs. He said, and I have got a dozen people are working with me. And he said, I have to work only 3-4 hours a day. That's all. I go at 11 o'clock, come back at 2 o'clock. I just have to supervise and see that they are doing the right things. And I make pandal in different places. I just take phone calls. That's all. Now he has become a counselor now. Himself. He's having 30 people under him now. He said, Prabhupada's books, they transformed my life. I'm not like a dog going door to door. Sir, is there a job? So, actually, spiritual advancement is liberating, not binding. Spiritual advancement actually that doesn't make us to become slavery of Maya. Yeah. Actually, the jiva is servant of the Lord. But when he forgets that position, he becomes servant of Mammon, servant of Maya, and he is very proud. He is proud for no reason at all. Yeah. Like he says here, he wanders in different species of life according to his destiny, isn't it? So, in this way, sometimes he's a king, sometimes he's a praja, sometimes he's rich, sometimes he's poor, wandering in different type of this thing. So that verse says, Shvavid Varahashtra Karihi, that verse. Shva Vidvaraha means, why is he saying Vidvaraha? Because the stool eating hogs, their lifestyle is the most abominable, horrible. They live in ditch and they eat stool and they mix with anybody without caring for whether one is sister or mother or daughter. They have sex with anybody indiscriminately. Such low class animals. So if one is a drunkard, if he will also do the same thing, he will try to rape his own daughter. There have been cases like that. You have seen that. So therefore, such people are compared to hogs. Who drink anything, eat anything, live any kind of lifestyle, unclean lifestyle, sleep with any woman, and get diseases. And Ustra means the camel. The camel is a very lazy creature. Actually, similarly, the Kali Yuga people are very lazy for spiritual life. They don't want to get awakened. They are lethargic. Manda, Samanda Matya, it is. And Karaya means a donkey. Donkey means load carrying animal it is. They do a lot of hard work. For what? For nothing. They will slog hard, accumulate a lot of goods and leave it all behind and go, which is not meant for their enjoyment. Even the insurance they save will be given to their nominees, not to them, after their death. Correct? No? They are not going to be recipients or enjoyers of that. They slog hard and somebody else enjoys it. Big business lords, they make so much money and leave it in Swiss bank and go. They don't enjoy. Somebody else is enjoying it. So, therefore, these are considered foolish animals. And this verse says that such kinds of people become leaders and they have similar followers, he says. Their followers will be also doing similar type of activities. That verse says that. So, therefore, in Prabhupada, summarily, in one of the lectures I heard Prabhupada saying, people, run for occupation or engagement like dogs door to door. And when they get jobs, they work hard like donkeys. And after working hard and they accumulate a lot of money, then they enjoy life like pigs, he says. And after they enjoy, they become completely dull-headed and they become lazy like camels. Correct? So such a powerful comparison Bhagavatam gives for different kinds of people. So these people, what can they understand about Bhagavan? What can they understand about the Supreme Lord? Without studying scriptures, so-called Swamis, so-called mystics, so-called leaders of society who are cheating the masses, they are criticizing the Lord and they are criticizing the Holy Lord as somebody ordinary. Why do they try to make Lord ordinary? So that they can gain self-prominence. They can become popular. Put the Lord down and say that I am a great personality, very intelligent. I can put Lord under the electron microscope and assess him also. They can actually, comment about the Lord or great offenders they are. So these are intellectuals, whether one is a karmi or a jnani or a yogi. Prabhupada says the yogis are third class rascals And, the karmis, and the second class rascals are jnanis, first class rascals are yogis, he says. Why? Because all these fellows have their independent program from the Lord. They are not aligned with the Lord. Like the karmi wants to work hard and enjoy himself. And the jnani wants to speculate and interpret the Lord with his 4 defects, imagining himself to be Parabrahman. That's the greatest offense. And the yogi is after his siddhi attaining program, so that he can show off to the world. So none of these people, therefore they are called abhaktanam. Yunjananam abhaktanam pranayamadivirmanah akshina vasanam rajan drishyate punaruttitam. This verse says, these abhaktas can never purify the heart on their own. But only those who study Gita and follow the instructions of the Lord, Rajavidya, Rajaguhyam, Pavitram, Idam, Uttamam. They can go beyond darkness because Lord is beyond darkness. He can uplift us to a platform which is beyond darkness. Pratyakshabagamam dharmyam. He says that this dharma of Bhakti Yoga is practiced and practically realizable. It is very easy to realize. One can chant the holy name, one can take darshan of the deities, one can eat prasadam, one can study the instructions of the Lord given in scriptures, which is very lucid and simple. And one can experience the joy, just like, for example, if you eat prasad, you feel satisfaction in the belly. Is it not true? When you put the prasad in the mouth, you feel the taste. Similarly, this is joyfully performed. Susukam kartam havayam. This dharma of Bhakti Yoga is not artificial process. All other processes are artificial. For example, artificially emptying the desires in your mind through Jnana Yoga, contemplation and discrimination, that is actually artificial. Because when one is attached to Krishna, then everything else is forgotten. All other unwanted things go away. So, it is Bhakti Yoga is wholesome. Other paths are not wholesome. Wholesome means Bhakti Yoga is a body, mind, soul program. If you see Karma Yoga, they have to work hard with their body and they offer only the fruits. And then gradually they have to come to Nishkama Karma Yoga. Correct, no? When they, like Dhruva Maharaj was Sakama Karmi in the beginning. Correct, no? Then gradually he had to become Nishkama. That means you are in one state, you have to come to another state. Now if you see Ismail Prahalad, if you see, he was already doing Nishkama Karma Yoga. Already he was in Nishkama platform. He says, Aham tvakamas, tad bhaktas, tvam swami anapashya. Aham tu akamaha, he's saying. I have not come with any desire. I don't want anything, he says. That means he's already free from that. So somebody who's a jnani, who is above the desires, he has become a person free from any material aspirations like that. But even that is not complete, because he's engaging his mind in speculating about what is Shreyas and what is Preyas, what is Sat, what is Asat. And then he has to carefully avoid Asat and accept only Sat. Correct, no? But that is also not very highest, because he has to discriminate. Sometimes he may fail in his discrimination due to 4 defects. Correct, no? Yeah, due to 3 gunas and 4 defects. Yogis are people who are earlier jnanis, but they have come to promoted state. Like jnanis, Prabhupada says very beautifully in that holy name lecture which he gave in the very early days in 1965. He says that initially the living entity doesn't care for anybody, he just wants to enjoy life. And when he tries to enjoy life, he gets kicks like anything. The more you try to enjoy, you get kicks. Just like the Bhaksan Thakur's example. He says once a crane wanted to eat a fish, but the fishes were all escaping him in the river. So he wanted a fish which he can easily catch. So he found a bull's testicle hanging from a bull. So he put his chonch, the beak, in between the 2 legs to catch the testicles of the bull. And the bull thought somebody is catching it. He gave a kick, pat. And the crane felt pain in his beaks, wondering why this fish is kicking me. He was surprised. Maybe he thought I didn't catch properly. Now let me catch again. Again he put his to catch it. Again got another kick. So Bhaksan Thakur derives a lesson from this. He says that in this material world, living entities think sense gratification is easily available. Yes, easily available. Go and touch it, you'll get a kick. Immediately you'll get any type of sense gratification in this world. The moment because they are pregnant with suffering, you touch them, they will deliver the suffering. Immediately, you will see that. So, in this way, the living entities are foolish in this world. And they get. Jnanis are speculating. Because they are speculating, they won't attain the ultimate happiness very easily. And the yogis also. Yogis come to the right ascertainment that, Lord in the heart is ultimate. I have to meditate on Him. Jhana avastha tadgatena manasa. But midway they get distracted by siddhis like that. So bhaktas are the only one who cross all these three stages of body, mind and intelligence. Karmis use body and senses. And jnanis use mind for speculating, mental speculation. And yogis use intelligence for concentration. Therefore that verse says, they use the buddhi. Tad buddhayas tadatmanas tannishthas tat parayanaha kachanti punarabhrityam jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. So you will see that as they keep on using the mind to speculate, Prabhupada says initially the living entity want to enjoy with the senses. When he cannot enjoy, he speculates with the mind. Why am I not able to enjoy? Then they discriminate. What is Sat? What is Asat? And then they come to wrong conclusion that the Sat is me only. They think like that. Then after imagining themselves to be God, still they suffer. Then they wonder, I am God, why am I suffering? Then you keep on researching. Then you come to correct assessment. I am not God, Super Soul is God. Then they become yogis, Then they look at Super Soul and they think that just silently meditating on Super Soul is the ultimate goal. Either they think. And then midway they get siddhis and they get distracted. And then as they keep on meditating, gradually becoming submissive, attracted to Him, then they come to the point of Bhakti Yoga, where the 5 rasas develop from that. And the yogi means only Shantarati. From Shantarati one can go to Dasya, then Sakya, then Vatsalya, then Madhurya. Actually, these are all from promotion to higher and higher stages. There is one verse in Bhagavatam says that, Param Jyoti. Then he says, Sarvabhuta Guhavasam. Then he says, Bhagavantam Madokshajam. These words are used. Param Jyoti is for whom? Jnanis. Sarvabhuta Guhavasam, yogis. Bhagavantam Adokshajam, not that. So this is how the promotion takes place. Vadanti tat tatpavidas tatvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdite. And their vishaya is also given. The subject matter for each of these three is given like that. So when you come to the Bhakti Yoga, then the Pratyakshavagavam Dharmyam, Susukam Kartamam, joyfully performed. It is not like the process of the yogis or the jnanis or karmis, which is very painfully performed. What that was? Klesho adhikatarastesham avyakta asakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham dekhavadviravapyate, Krishna says. See, he says, Klesho adhikatarastesham. The path of the jnanis is painful process because they have to artificially remove the desires. It's a very painful process. And avyakta hi gatir dukkham. That gati is also dukkham, he is saying. Why? Because they have to go to Brahma Jyoti and be alone there. No association, no loving relationship with the Lord. And last minute they'll come to know that Lord is the master and I am servant. Suddenly can you change your paradigm overnight? You are thinking I am God, I am God, I am God. Suddenly I am not God. God is here and I am different. So therefore their process is a very painful process. He says that. So in the same manner, there is one verse Brahmaji also says in the 14th chapter in the 10th canto. What is that verse? Shreya Shrutim Bhakti Mudasyate Vibho Klishyanti Ye Kevala Bodha Labdhaye Tesham Asau Kleshalaye Vashishyate Nanjadyata Stula Tushavagatinam. And then he says, what is the next verse? One more verse. Atapite Deva Padambujadvaya Prasadalesha Anugrihita Yevahi Janati Tatpam Bhagavan Mahimno Asanyameko Pichiram Vichinvan. So he says that Shreya Shrutim Bhaktim Udasyate Vivo. Those people who reject your bhakti path, my dear Lord, and resort to the path of mental speculation, he says they are exactly like what? The people who take the hay and beat the hay on the ground, although there are no grains in the hay. Already sometimes you see the yellow hay in the villages is arranged in big stacks. You've seen that? That is after the removal of the grains. It is stacked and kept for the cows to eat. You've seen that? Yeah. So now if somebody goes and takes the hay and beats on the ground, will they get anything? Yes, they will get pain. That's what it says. Kleshal eva shishyate. They will only get pain. They won't get grains, he says. So jnani speculation with the mind is like beating an empty husk. He's saying like that. So therefore, two things we have spoken till now. One is the Lord's position has to be respected by the jiva. Without understanding the Bhagavan's position properly and developing a deep sense of respect for him, nobody can even begin dharma. You cannot even begin a religious occupation. Other people in the name of religion are cheating Kaitava dharma. Amongst the Kaitava dharma, the jnanis are called Kaitava pradhan, jnanis path. Our Rupa Goswami uses the word Kaitava, topmost cheaters. Because they claim to be God. Therefore, they are topmost cheaters, he says. What is that verse? Dharma projita kaitavatra paramo nirmatsaranam satam. And this same thing is explained by Rupa Goswami. He says, Bhukti mukti spriha yavat pishachi iti vartate. That is one verse he says. Both bhukti and mukti. See, karmis and the yogis, they both want to do bhukti. Because karmis want to enjoy gross enjoyments. And yogi want to enjoy subtle powers. You want to enjoy. And jnani wants mukti. Bhukti, mukti. Spriha means attached. Attracted to these two things. Pishachi iti vartate. All the three are pishachas, he's saying. Because they take you away from the Lord. Like that he says. So therefore they are called as Kaitava Pradhan. Rupa Goswami writes in Bhakti Sam Sindhu as Kaitava Pradhan. He calls these things topmost cheating, he says. So on the other hand, the path of bhakti is the most innocent and pure path for the pure-hearted people. Prabhupada writes a definition of a sadhu in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Sadhus are persons who are thoroughly honest. You will find that Tadvag Visargo Janataga Viplo, in that verse translation you'll find sadhus are persons devoted to the Lord who are thoroughly honest. They are transparent and they cannot cheat anyone or anybody. Why? Because they see the Lord's eyes are always watching them. They have firm faith in the supremacy of the Lord and their subordination to Him. So, with that correct understanding, therefore Prabhupada gave this Bhagavad Gita as it is and Srimad Bhagavatam and all, because unless people read this literature, they cannot understand the Lord's position itself. Without understanding his position, then how can you be attracted to anything holy? Because all other holy items derive their holiness from where? From the Lord only. So that means man in the name of God and religion has fumbled in that step itself everywhere. Therefore, we need unadulterated knowledge coming in Guru Parampara, given by Acharyas. And even all of us, we can also become cheaters if we don't study Prabhupada books properly and assimilate this knowledge and tell the people the truth. Many times we don't tell the truth, we tell everything other than the truth. And why we do that? Just to pamper the people and hold them with us. Many of the so-called gurus of the modern times want to have millions of followers because they have to tell the untruth. They can say I am saying the truth, but they speak the untruth. Why? Because then only they can hold the people. The moment you tell the truth, people run away, correct? No? Then you will get only few followers. So they always adulterate the truth. Adulterated with what? Karma, jnana, yoga. Adulteration. So we have to speak the truth. If you have to speak the truth, we have to hear from Prabhupada. So, therefore, now when we talk of the missionary spirit in this month, see what is mission and missionary spirit? Please all of you repeat. Yarade katare kaha Krishna upadesha Amara ajñaye guru haya taraye desha Prithvi teya cheyata nagaradigram Sarvatra prachara haiva moranam So, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Kurma Brahman, instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Sri Krishna as they are given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. If you do this, Kurma Brahman, chant the holy names constantly and preach the message of Bhagavad Gita. And Lord said, you will always be happy, floating in bliss. You will not float in the samsara sagar, he said. Tomara nabadi be vishaya taranga, he says. So the vishaya taranga, waves of samsara will not cause you battering of the waves and suffering. It won't cause you suffering if you do these two activities. Chant the holy name always and preach the message of the Lord. Yeah. And the second verse is Lord Chaitanya's prophecy that in every town and village his name will be chanted. What is his name? Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. These names nobody knew before. Panchatattva name, correct now? So now in every village and town, this is becoming very popular now, as he said. So, preach in every town, village, everyone should get the gift of Krishna consciousness without any discrimination. That song we sing, Jati Dan Vidya Bal, Na Kore Apeksha. Nityananda does not see your Jati, your Dhan, your Vidya, your Bal. None of it is his. There is only one thing he says. What is that? Shraddha Mulye. Shraddha Mulye Shuddha Nam Sehate Te Bikai. You say, So Shraddha Mulye. The Mulya that you have to pay for getting the Shuddha Nam is Shraddha Mulya. Shraddha Mulya Shuddha Nam Sehate Te Bikai. Bikai means he sells. So as soon as you hear the word sell, people are afraid. How much? How much I have to pay? Nothing, only Shraddha, that's all. Shraddha Mulya Shuddha Nam Sehate Te Bikai. You say. Jati Dan Vidya Bal Na Kore Apeksha. He doesn't expect anything else from you. So there are two names are given in scriptures, Bhajananandi and Goshtanandi. Both are glorious. But what is preferred in the eyes of Acharyas and Lord Krishna, let us see. If you see Prabhupada writing to Purna Prajna Prabhu, he says here, who says you are a Bhajananandi? Don't be a Bhajananandi. As soon as you become Bhajananandi, you will be spoiled. You will be spoiled as Nitai has spoiled himself. Nitai is one devotee. You have an intense desire to preach, so do that. So far as your engagement is concerned, you are already engaged as Pujari, so do that. And whenever you get time, preach Bhagavad Gita, like that he writes. That means even a Pujari also can preach. He can keep books of Prabhupada on the altar. When people come and ask for flower, along with flower, give one Bhagavad Gita also. To them. Please take this also. Now put some 200 rupees in the hundi. In this way, a Pujari can also be a preacher. Like you see this Mahasundar Prabhu in Delhi. Morning he dressing of the deity. After he takes prasad and then pushes off for book distribution all day. He's one of the biggest book distributors. Vishnadhar Pujari cannot be a book distributor. Some Pujaris say, no, Prabhu, we have to chant all day. But he gets up at 2 o'clock. Gets up at 2 o'clock, get ready, 2:30, 4:30, finish your chanting. Then dress the deities and go out and Sankirtan all day. He's the boss in both. In very beautiful dressing he does, and he also distributes. It's very dear to his spiritual master. See, they still above them are Goshtanandis. He says, read that. They are called. In the mic you have to read. Those who have the mic with you, read it. Quick.
They are called Bhajanandi, and still above them are Goshnandi. Bhajanandis, they are satisfied with ingesting, just like Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj said that great sages, greatly sent person, they are fond of living in the secluded places for their own benefit, salvation. But so far I am concerned, I am not interested for my personal salvation. I want to see that all these rascals, they are devotee.
Shoche tato vimukha chetasa indriyarthaya. I am simply
thinking of these rascals who are not inclined to Krishna consciousness, but they have made a huge organization for a temporary benefit.
Maya Sukaya Baramad Bhagato Vimudhan. So like the Prahlad Maharaj says, my dear Lord, I don't want to come alone to Vaikunta. I want to take all these people with me and send them to Vaikunta, and then I will come. So Prabhupada says, these are called who? Goshtanandis. Not Bhajananandis. Bhajananandis just sit inside a room and just keep reading. They want to read Upanishads, they want to read Vedas, they want to read Puranas. They keep on packing more and more knowledge in their head. One day they will die. They don't know where are they going. But those are Goshanandis will go out. So that's why our movement is called door-to-door movement. Door-to-door means you have to go out. See, this is the verse. Prayena deva muniyasva vimukti kama maunam charanti vijanena pararthanishtaha naitan vihaya kripanan vimumukshayeko nanyam tvadasya sharanam brahmato nupashye. My dear Lord Narasimhadeva, I see that there are many saintly persons indeed, but they are interested only in their own deliverance. Svabhimukti kaman. Not caring for big cities and towns. They go to the Himalayas or the forest to meditate with vows of silence, Maunavrata. They are not interested in delivering others. As for me, however, I do not wish to be liberated alone, leaving aside all these poor fools and rascals. I know that without Krishna consciousness, without taking shelter of your lotus feet, one cannot be happy. Therefore, I wish to bring them back to shelter at your lotus feet. Even many of our voice boys also, college days, they preach and bring the boys from the hostel to cultivate Krishna consciousness. They distribute books. After that, we find when they pass out, when they take jobs, when money comes in the pocket, gradually the tummy comes out. You start eating a lot. You become little flattish. And then gradually you find them becoming more and more interested in, money making, and they gradually become covered over. They go backward. And then at 28, 27, 28, marriage happens. So then they become double lazy. After that, they rarely go out for book distribution. They rarely take up any preaching program. I'm not talking about everybody. There are some who are doing well. But I'm talking about many of them. Because then they say, Prabhu, I have a wife now. Now we have to put up our material life. Then they take 3, 4, 5 years to put up material life. And by the time baby comes, then another 3, 4, 5 years they take care of baby. And by the time then they have to make more money again. They want to take promotion in the company. By the time the child comes to 10th standard, then to take care of 10th standard, then 12th standard, then pushing him into engineering or medical. So whole life goes one after another. They end up doing nothing in life. Rock bottom, minimum, some or other. I completed my 16 rounds like that. What kind of life is that? It's horrible it is. So just because you wear a tilak and kandimala doesn't make us great people, unless we act like a devotee. So therefore, see, one boy was telling, Prabhuji, I am Gauranga Sabha, should I have to give easy membership? Anyway, I am going to give my body, everything. So after 4 years, I am joining. I asked him, what is the assurance you will be alive after 4 years? Is there an assurance? When Corona came, nobody knew. Young people died, isn't it? So, do you wait for 4 years to eat your food? Okay, 4 years. Afterwards, we will eat. No. Every day you brush your teeth. Every day you take bath. Every day you take prasad. 3 times a day. We don't compromise on that. Similarly, every earning person should give charity. Right now you give. You don't know whether you'll be alive or not tomorrow. Today you are alive, give charity. Similarly, today you are alive, do something Krishna conscious for other living beings also. Go out and distribute books. Do something for others. Don't wait. Generally, our tendency is, when it comes to auspicious activities, we postpone them. We say that, that's a very good activity, not now. Like the Kailash was always on snooze mode. Correct, no? Isn't it? So that is the tendency of the... And sense gratification, they have to do right now. That I have to do today only. Correct, no? That's how the living entities are. We have to reverse the polarity now. Sense gratification, what we should do? Postpone it. Like somebody is saying, Prabhuji, extra gulab jamuns are available. Then you may say, okay, if it is available in fridge tomorrow, we'll take it tomorrow. Postpone it. Tomorrow they say it got over. No problem. Sense gratification, postpone it. And Krishna consciousness? Right now. That's what Prahlad is saying, that I don't want to go to Himalayas and relax. But one truth I will tell you now. Mayavadis are not going to Himalayas nowadays. They go to Himalayas and fly back again to city. They are in city. They are right now reaching to millions. If you are not aware of it, you are living in a world of ignorance. If you go to the YouTube, you will see many of the Mayavadis, they have the reputation because their organization started 200 years ago, 100 years ago. They are older than us. And they have established themselves as great Vedantist and everything, and they are bluffing many things. And they have millions of followers. You will see that. They are roaring preaching, they are doing. Actually, if they are Maunam Charandi, if they are keeping Maunam, it's very good only. Unfortunately, they are not keeping Maunam now. They are speaking and fooling the people. And because of that, many intelligent, even IIT boys, many of the IIT boys are joining those clubs, Mayavadi clubs, and they're thinking we are all walking gods. They're thinking. And they are thinking we are gods, they go abroad, they indulge with women, they imagine themselves to be Supreme Brahman, and they're smoking cigarette, doing as armchair speculator. Many IIT boys also. Therefore, I want to start an exclusive program for the IITians. IIT passed out people giving class to IITians. That kind of a new venture we want to start, because these people have to be saved. They are people with big stout intelligence, and that intelligence is being used for studying Mayavad books, all so-called Vedantist books. So they are being actually cheated. They don't know the sweet path of bhakti is unknown to them, because we have not reached to them. Somebody else has reached to them. They are getting cheated, unfortunately. Therefore, like Prahlad Maharaj says, we should actually feel like in the beginning I told you, they are roaming for job like dogs, they are working hard like donkeys, they are eating like pigs, and they are lazy like camels. So when we see this, what should be our response? You should not just criticize them and leave them. If you criticize them and leave them, that's called Kanishtadhikari. Kanishtadhikari only criticizes and leaves, he doesn't give any solution. Madhyamadhikari means he criticizes, but he also purifies them and uplifts them. That is Madhyamadhikari. That's the difference between Kanishta and Madhyam. See, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, we can understand a Vaishnava very nicely when we see that he has converted so many conditioned souls into Vaishnava life. That is the estimation of a Vaishnava. If I simply try for myself, I may be a very advanced devotee. That's not very much appreciated by Krishna. So this is another stage called as, taking all risk, preaching for the benefit of the whole human society. That's called Goshtyanandi. Increasing the number of devotees. That is preferred by Krishna. What he says, repeat it. Increasing. What we should do? Increase the number of devotees. That means recruit more devotees. Don't more Vaishnavas. Don't just preach and leave people. His Holiness Jayapataka Swami used to say, Shoshyatam griham agatam, used to say. Don't go in a helicopter and just throw seeds in the field and come back. Because if you do that, somebody else will reap the crops and take it and go away. That means you sow the seeds and Mayavadis get the results. Is it good? No. In fact, they sow the seeds and we have to get the results. Correct, no? Let them trigger people. So many courses they conduct in colleges, taking 1,500 rupees, 2,000 rupees they take. Let them conduct and go. And then once the pious boys are identified, you take the database and you call them for Bhagavad Gita as it is. Train them. That you should do. You round up the spiritual life and make them Pakka devotees. And so, in fact, Mayavadis are doing one good work nowadays in Kali Yuga. I'll tell you what is it. They are actually helping us to identify pious boys. Correct, no? And people who want to lead sattvic life. So let them give us a database of pious boys and we will cultivate them and take them back to Godhead. Correct, no? Because we don't want those fellows to just attend some breathing exercise and just do some yoga and then become a better sense gratifier. So we want them to come to Krishna. So we have to preach. Yeah. Emam paramam gukyam mad bhakteshu abhidasyati. Bhaktim mayi param kritva mame vaishyasam. He says, no? That's tasman manusheshu kaschin me priyakritamaha. So if you want to very quickly become recognized by Krishna, go on preaching Krishna consciousness. Even if it is imperfectly done, but because you are sincere in your capacity, your God, if you preach, then Krishna will be very much pleased with you. That means even a neophyte devotee is going out and trying to distribute a Prabhupada's book. You're trying to preach, Krishna will be watching you and he'll be very pleased with you, he says. Yeah. We are not interested in liberation. We have come to preach devotional service. And Kumbh Mela Prabhupada said, do you think we are coming to take a bath in the Kumbh? Because that's Amritam has fallen there and then we take a bath and you'll get moksha. That's not. There are so many people coming for that. We want to catch them and give them a book. We want to make them devotees. So people go to Kumbh Mela, 2-3 crore people go for what? For moksha. And we go for what? Preaching. You understand the difference? They will come for moksha and we will divert them from moksha to back to Godhead. Instead of going to Brahma Jyoti, you can carry them to Goloka. That is the purpose of a devotee. We should give them spiritual knowledge. That's why we attend Kumbh Mela. We are not concerned about, like Gopis are also saying, there is one verse which says, Dekha smriti nahi aar, samsara gopa kahan tar. This verse says, Dekha smriti, they don't have even consciousness of their body only. They don't know body exists. Then where is moksha for them? They are already beyond moksha. The Bhakti Yoga means a Bhakta already knows I am not the body, I am the soul. And he doesn't bother about sufferings in the world, as long as the sufferings are for pleasing Krishna. That's a very famous verse. Repeat this. अपने आचार्य के है ना करे प्रचार, प्रचार करे न के है ना करे न आचार, आचार प्रचार नामेर करह दुई कार्य, तुम्ही सर्व गुरु तुम्ही जगतेरा आर्य. Sanatan told this to Haridas Thakur. He's saying, some behave well but don't preach Krishna consciousness, whereas others preach but they don't behave properly. So which one is important? Preaching or behavior? Both are important. Then verse says, you simultaneously perform both duties in relation to the holy name, by your personal behavior and by your preaching. Therefore you are the guru of the entire world. Like the Sanatan told Haridas Thakur. You see, Haridas Thakur had both. From here I have given 5 meanings are there for missionary spirit. First, missionary spirit means compassion. And there are many quotes of Prabhupada. See, Prabhupada's eyes are glistening with compassion for all the suffering souls. Yeah. See, spiritual passion means compassion, working to deliver fallen, conditioned souls for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. Somebody may say, why you guys are, pushing the books, distributing books? One man wrote a feedback from NBCC. And I was coming to the temple and I was going in Parikrama Marg. One of your men came and gave me a cake. Somebody is giving you a cake, how will you not accept? So I accepted the cake. As soon as I put the cake in the mouth, he showed me a book. Please take this book. And that I didn't expect. I thought he is lovingly giving a cake, I accepted. So I said, okay, you accepted a cake, that is very good. That is for the, you get satisfaction for the belly and some little purification. But when you read the book, your soul is elevated, isn't it? So sometimes we may be criticized by people that you are pushing books. Like one Mataji complained to Prabhupada that, Swamiji, your men have to be trained. They are little forceful. They are a bit aggressive. They are pushing the books. Prabhupada said, that's all right. They may be neophyte devotees and they may not be mature in dealing with people politely. Like Vaisheshika Prabhu says, if you show books and people don't take, still you should smile at them and say, never mind, I know you have examinations today. Have a nice day, all the best for your exams. Come later in your holidays, you can pick up a book at that time. Like that you should say. So then they will say, okay, you give a book, I will read it in holidays. Then they'll take a book. Why? Because you behaved nicely with me. Then I'll take a book. On the other hand, you say, अरे मेरे समय की बर्बाद कर दिया तुमने. आधा घंटा मैंने समझाया आपकी किताब बारे में, लेकर क्यों नहीं रख सकते, परीक्षा के बाद पढ़ सकते हैं ना. Like that you say. They will say, immature devotee, they will never come to you. Correct, no? So, in this way, sometimes devotees are a little passionate in pushing the books. But Prabhupada says, at least he told the lady that you should appreciate that they have dedicated their life to Krishna, which most people are not ready to do. Like that he said. Yeah. The same verse which I described Prahlad Maharaj's verse before, it's explained. Actually, this is another verse. Here he says, Naivod Vijay Paraduratya Vaitaranyas Tadbirya Gayana Mahamrta Magna Chittaha. What is the meaning of this? My dear Lord, I am not at all afraid of samsara sagar. Why? Because I am absorbing my mind in Tadbirya Gayana, in glorifying you. Mahamrta Magna Chitta. My chitta is Magna in your Virya, in your glorification. So I have no problem, Prahlad says. But what is my problem? I have one problem. What is it? Shochetato vimukacheta sayindriyartha Maya sukhaya bharamudvahato vimudhan My concern is only for the fools and rascals who are making elaborate plans for material enjoyment, happiness, and maintaining their families, societies, countries. I am simply concerned with love for them. You say, correct? No, shoche. That's my lamentation is. I am not lamenting for myself. I am lamenting for others, those who are rotting in this material world. I want to see that they go back to you. So Prahlad is preaching. You can see that he's preaching to his friends. He is feeling suffering in his heart, seeing that his friends are all misdirected by the misleading teachers. So you want to see them go back to Godhead. You should feel the same with your friends in the college. Yeah, so Prabhupada heart full of compassion, despite his couple of heart attacks. With great suffering, he went and preached. Yeah, yeah. It was early morning dawn actually, and there was only the barest glimmer of light. Yet so many cars were zooming past on the road nearby. Prabhupada looked towards city. I recall that his eyes were moist and that he spoke with great compassion. They are so unfortunate, he said. They are working so hard. He said. We could clearly see that he felt keenly for the suffering souls. So, what was the first point we learned? Compassion. And another meaning of missionary spirit means? Yeah. So, time is precious. Life is short. And life is running out of our hands. We should feel the urgency. Yeah. Job should have been done yesterday, but at least today I should do it. Without a sense of urgency, the desire loses its value. He says. Because sometimes you may have a desire to do some good. But if you, there was a boy who wanted to join GS. He was in GS. His sister was having fight with her husband. And she was often coming home. And she was telling him that I am planning to divorce. So he got very disturbed. So he asked, if my sister divorces her husband and comes, then how can I join the ashram? I have to protect her, take care of her. I said that, see, ideally she should not divorce. That's not good. But if she divorces and comes, then parents are there, they will take care. But parents will get old, Prabhu. After that, who will take care of her? I was asking. And also I have one more sister to get settled there. So he was having questions like this. And his sister divorced and came. Then this fellow moved out from GS and he got married. Now he is married and having 2-3 children now. Then I asked him one day, are you able to take care of your sister? He said, oh, she doesn't listen to anybody, Prabhuji. She's working in an IT company. She's going all over the world. She is in jeans and t-shirt. No, she doesn't care for anybody. So he left GS for the sake of protecting sister, but she doesn't want any protection. And when he told his sister, I have to take care of you, she said, what are you talking? If you want, I'll take care of you. She's saying, I am taking care of you. If you want money, tell me. I'm going to America. I'll send you $1 note, she's saying. So why I am saying this, actually this fellow had a desire to dedicate his life, but he did not have urgency. That he lacked. He didn't understand. He thought, which is more urgent? Protecting sister. And then she said, hell with you, I'm not interested in anybody. And he told her, she doesn't listen to anybody in the family. Neither parents nor him, nobody. He said, Prabhuji, I get fed up. Now I have stopped talking to her only, he's saying. So you can see like that in this world. Because you think something else is urgent for you, you are gone. Therefore, one should feel Krishna conscious urgency. That's what, who taught to whom? Bhakti Siddhanta is taught to whom? Srila Prabhupada. Krishna consciousness is urgent, it's emergency, he said. If urgency is not tackled on time, urgency becomes emergency. Correct, no? Yeah. Success requires both urgency and patience. Yeah. Be urgent about making the effort. Be patient about seeing the results. Yeah. Correct. Success requires urgency and patience. A combination, he says. Actually, we should show urgency in making the effort. But results can come on its own if you have done your efforts. So we should have our eyes focused on efforts or the results. Yeah. Because who will give the results? You sow the seed, Lord will give the rain. Yeah, this is the one which I told you now. His guru taught him the emergency. Krishna consciousness is emergency, he said. We don't have to wait for any. Urgency comes from compassion. When you have compassion, then you feel urgency. And then you get inspired. When there is inspiration from Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada says, think big, take this. I have one disease that I can't think small. Prabhupada says, isn't it? So then you want to do something wonderful for Prabhupada. That means everything begins with some amount of compassion, some droplets of compassion, which we said, that leads to urgency. Compassion to urgency. Then from urgency you get inspiration. Okay. A third one, missionary spirit means people generally think spiritual life means free from anxiety. Correct, no? People have a notion like that. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Everybody has seen where I travel, people say, Prabhuji, I can't connect with my authority, I have a problem. Prabhuji, I can't connect with my friends. Prabhuji, the prasadam, was not enough or it was not a good quality. Everybody thinks spiritual life means you try to put a full stop to all suffering and then be peaceful. Being peaceful is which platform? Shanti platform. It's a Brahmajyoti platform. Whereas we go to spiritual world, there also there is anxiety. But what anxiety? Yashoda is having anxiety that the cow should not put their hoofs on Krishna's lap. The monkey should not scratch his body. She has fear. Krishna should not fall into some kund. Or Kamsa should not send some demons to, capture Krishna. She is always fearful. But her anxiety is sitting at home. Because of their anxiety, what is happening to her? She is? Her remembrance of Krishna is increasing by that. So, material world also there is anxiety. Asajya manasya duranta chintaya. That Muchukunda says that. Another verse also says, durashayaye bhagirarthamaninaha. He says that, no, not that. Ate vidu swartha kadami Vishnu. No, not that verse. Another verse. 3 verses. Matirna Krishna is one. Ate vidu swartha kadami is another one. There's one more verse. Who knows? He says that, therefore, Father, you are always in chinta, he says. Sada samudvigna diyam asat grahat. When you hold on to asat like Dhanam Janam Sundarim of this world, you get sada samudvigna, always in anxiety. But that anxiety is called what anxiety? Material anxiety. But in spiritual world, spiritual anxiety is increasing remembrance of Krishna. And material anxiety is making us increasingly forget Krishna. It's just the opposite. See, Prabhupada's anxiety. He thought nobody's coming to my storefront, so I will go to the park. And he went to the park and sat, although he was very respectable Acharya from India. He went to the park and he sat and did kirtan there. Yeah. I thank you very much for your kind words, and you can pray to Krishna that I may be for some time with you. That's my desire. I have no objection to death. I am old man. Still I wish to live because I want to see that the mission and missionaries I have started maybe still more stronger before I leave. So I pray to Krishna for this, he says. Mission is the mission to spread the holy name around. Missionaries means devotees. Yeah. I want to strengthen both, he says. Yeah. You know this song, famous song? But this is very, very Bada Kripa Kaile Krishna Adamera Prati. This is the song Prabhupada wrote when he was in the ship. Ki kore bujabo kata borose chahi. Kshudra ame dinahina kono shakti nahi. Ki kore bujabo kata borose chahi. Shudra ame dinahina kono shakti nahi. So he's saying, Bujama means understand. Huh? Yeah. So, ki koro bujabo katha barose chahi. How will these people understand the message of Krishna consciousness? They are all running here and there in cars. Even whole night they are awake. I am only Kshudrami. I am very, very small. I am insignificant. I am powerless. Dina hina, I say. Kono Shakti, I have no power. If you wish, you can make them understand. This is the humility of Prabhupada. Yeah. ये कलमल करामी कहाँ कहाँ याबा ये कलावा कथा फला पाडिया विलाबा. See, he said, I am the only gardener. How many places can I go? How many fruits can I pick and distribute? Like Lord Chaitanya is asking all the jivas. Which means what is he indirectly saying? Help me. Imagine, for example, one leader is bringing 2 dozen mangoes in the hand, he is not able to hold. Prabhus, can anyone help me? Means what? Can you take it from my hand and distribute to all the devotees? Instead of only one. Imagine that Prasad Mahal with 5,000 devotees, only one person has to distribute Prasad for all. Very difficult. So some devotees can share. Sometimes we make even multiple buffets. 4 or 5 buffets we make and we make queues and it is distributed fast. So Mahaprabhu is saying like that. Ekala utasha dite haya parishrama. Keha paya keha na paya rahe mane brahma. Yeah. It would certainly be a very laborious task to pick up the fruits and distribute them all alone by myself. And still I suspect that some would receive them and others would not. Correct, no? Sometimes when you are giving some prasad, some fellows are shy fellows, they'll be hiding behind and they will not be able to come forward. So, but make sure that everybody gets it. For that I need your help, like the Mahaprabhu was saying. So that was, what is the first thing I said? Compassion. Second one? And third one? Spiritual anxiety. So the Mahaprabhu, what is his anxiety? Whether every jiva got Krishna prema or not. For that he wants the help of preachers. So not only you become a devotee, you also become a distributor of the holy name. Yeah. One good news I got from Dasharat Priya Prabhu, that you all know that Yogesh Prajapati Prabhu, who in Raurkela, he has a tuition institute. From that, 12 students have joined NIT Raurkela. You know that? Yeah. And these students are already joining 4-5 rounds. And they have been having some device classes for them during their tuition days. 12 of them, he sent me the photo. And they all have joined. So here also from Vidya Sarita, I am sure some students will join. But we want, if any tuition center is able to produce a group of children who can come to the voices, I would consider that the greatest success. Because the tuition centers should send the students into the voices, and the voices should send students into yogas. And the yoga people, when they ripen, they should become like ripe mangoes. And they should shave up and join temple, or they should get married and live around the temple. And not just live around, come and do save also. Not just sleep at home. Come and take part in activities, missionary activities, like Kashi Mishra Prabhu, Gaur Bhakti Mataji, or like Venudhara Krishna Prabhu and Bhavatrani Mataji, like that. Very active people in our community. Shuddhan Chaitanya Prabhu. Like that, there are people who are regularly coming to temple and doing a lot of services. And taking, also there are CSB, CCB and CPB members, what 15 members we have. So they are all taking temple like their home and developing the temple. And Mataji is coming and doing Rajabho cooking and garland making. So they should actually live around the temple and feel the temple is our home, like that. Or become full-time brahmacharis. So this is the success we can say. Some other children, there's one Ramakrishna, one small boy, his father used to always bring him and say, go and offer obeisance to Prabhuji. He used to come and offer obeisance. Hare Krishna, like that he would say, Hare Krishna. And the teeth was broken here. Hare Krishna. I still remember when he was a small kid. Now this boy grew up, he studied in CDAC now. And he graduated meritoriously. Now he got a job in Hyderabad. He's going to stay in our voice center there. And his father came in. And he wanted to bring 4 of his friends also, who are new beginners in Krishna consciousness, he wants to bring. So why I am saying this, from our children training, they should come into tuition centers. From tuition centers, they come into voice into yoga. And yoga, they have to safe land, either in Brahmacharya ashram or in Grihastha ashram temple, and not get lost. If we can successfully do that, it's a very nice thing. So we talked about compassion, we talked about urgency, and taking spiritual anxiety. Hmm. So on the other hand, there are some devotees who started tuition centers. The teachers became little money minded. They started arguing, fighting. Why are you giving him more money? Why are you giving me less money? And some of them became more worried about, you know, my wife and my children, my future. And slowly they started leaving this tuition center and going for IT jobs. Some people went like that. They want to make more money there. And they forgot the missionary spirit. They forgot the goal of spiritual life. Or they even had tussle amongst themselves in some places. And the tuition centers are closed down. They were started by devotees, they are run by devotees for some time. Either they are closed down, or the top person actually, he has removed over a period of time, devotees went away one by one, and then he has replaced them with outside teachers. It's very easy for him to handle. Devotees are more difficult to handle. Yeah. And then gradually, what do you find? Then the institute loses its goal of making devotees. Then it becomes like any other karmi school. And even in BMS also, Bhaktivedanta Model School, devotee teachers were there before. Now the devotee teachers say that we are only getting some 15,000 or 16,000. Outside people are getting 24,000, 25,000. We want more money. And the leaders, they say that we don't want to charge the children very heavy so that parents cannot pay so much. They are middle class families. Outside schools are charging heavy. They are also giving big salary. We charge less, so we give less salary. Then the devotees leave the school and they go to outside schools to work. And there are people who come and join our school. But who are the people? They were rejected by outside schools. They were not devotees also. That means they are mediocres. You understand what I am saying? So if they come to our BMS school, will they be able to produce quality children? So who suffers ultimately? Our children suffer, and we can't produce class devotees. So what is the solution? I was telling the solution. If need be, you raise some funds and pay good salaries to teachers, and also get qualified teachers. Outside IITs, they have 600 acres, 800 acres land, and they have such labs, and they get intelligent fellows come there, and they make them professors like that. Either you get intelligent people or you make them devotees. Otherwise, correct now? So we have to think about those things. So therefore, we should take anxiety, spiritual anxiety, to how to. Therefore, I told wherever I'm going tuition centers, I'm saying that all the teachers should come together at least once in a week for Bhagavatam study circle. And they should invite some senior saffron devotee to come and take a Bhagavatam study circle to them. Because if one saffron devotee, saffron fellows have proven that we don't care for the world. They have thrown away everything and they are shaven-headed despite their education. They are living in the ashram and they want to go back to Godhead. Correct? No, that's their main goal. And they want to preach. So they should actually take the Bhagavatam study circle regularly. And by hearing the message of Bhagavatam, gradually the material greed will be, the fire of the material greed will be quenched. And instead of taking anxiety for material life, devotee should take anxiety for spiritual life. Yeah. And the fourth one, missionary spirit means cooperation and team spirit is very necessary. Team and organization. With a wonderful team, we can spread Krishna consciousness far and wide. Otherwise, alone or in discrete groups, how much can we spread? This requires compassion, cooperation. This requires cooperation. First we said compassion, this is cooperation. So, like you see, the two pieces show that two devotees can have two different ideas. And they put their ideas together, something wonderful can happen. Say, for example, somebody says, I want to go to that locality to distribute. Can somebody help me? Some congregation says, like yesterday I was telling, I want to distribute books in areas where youths are in profuse number. This marathon I'm going to spend time in the youth areas. So some youth areas told me, Prabhuji, please don't come to our area. You are in Saffron, the college may raise objection. If they see you hanging around in our area daily, putting a table and they will throw us out. Okay, I said, I won't come, don't worry. And some areas said, Prabhuji, in our area, we have preaching in an area a little away from the college. You can come, you are most welcome. You can put the table. So I just went yesterday with the table and books. So some boys in that locality, in Kothurod locality, boys came. So the boys living in the center Some boys are free always, correct, no? Some boys are busy, some boys are free always. Sushmit Prabhu and a few other devotees came. We put the table, asked them how the books went, isn't it? Books went like hotcakes just in a couple of hours. Almost like 12,000 rupees worth books went in a couple of hours. So now I thought, I will just take 1+1. Me and Yogendra Prabhu were the team. So we put it in a car and took. We thought we are going to do alone, but then some people came and helped. Some more people came and also now the books we were planning to carry back to temple. They said no, we will make the count and submit it. They said. Kadam Kanan Prabhu came and it became very easy for us. So in this way, like imagine some Mataji says, oh, you are all distributing books, I can't distribute, I will make some prasad and give. So another Mataji says, I am not so good in cooking, I will help in packing. So they pack prasad packets and they give. Isn't it? Somebody comes and says, I am very pleased with the distribution, I will sponsor free calendars for all the people who take books. There are some people do that. So somebody gives calendar, somebody gives prasad, somebody prints card and gives us. When you give it, then preaching expands like anything. So putting all the efforts together, isn't it? Yeah. Still Prabhupada said that the movement will grow with intelligence and organization. Yeah. Yeah, this is what Mahaprabhu said. How many places I go? I need help. Yeah. You can see Prabhupada is sitting along with all the prominent disciples, you see. Each of these personalities has become a guru now, and they are all having thousands and thousands of followers, correct, no? Through that, Prabhupada is able to spread, conduct such big Rath Yatras. See, Prabhupada is distributing to a few hands in the right bottom picture, and then they will in turn distribute to thousands of people like that. That's how it expands. Door-to-door movement. Okay, what is the last one? Yeah. So missionary spirit means taking personal pain for the welfare of others. Now, not only taking anxiety in the mind, but also taking personal pain and doing some sacrifices for the welfare of others. This is even more down to earth practical than just taking anxiety. When you take anxiety in the mind, you make plans in the mind. Whereas when you take personal pain for welfare, then you practically do something, like you will see that. Here you can see Prabhupada is looking through the window to Samadhis of Rupa Sanatan and thinking, I have to write commentaries to the Bhagavatam based on Acharya's commentaries so that the whole world can be delivered. He is making a plan, and then every morning he started getting up at 12:31. Correct, no? Early morning, getting up and writing for 3-4 hours. That's why he could do this Herculean task of 18,000, verses commented to them. Sri Prabhupada left his eternal home Vrindavan and took so much pain to give Vrindavan to the whole world. Yeah. And he spent sleepless nights and wrote his golden Bhaktivedanta purports, enlightening the entire world, you see. Yeah, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhupada says that when he took sannyas, what was his age? 24. At that time, Prabhupada says he had a submissive and very beautiful wife who would cook very nice prasad at home. She was beautiful, submissive, faithful wife, chaste wife. And he had a mother who was a widow also. He left his widowed mother, Sachimata, and his wife also. And also, not only that, why did he leave? If you ask, at that time he says there was civil disobedience movement once, if you see, he gathered thousands of men. That means he was a very prominent political leader also. At home, his situation was very good. Wife was cooperative and submissive. Sometimes people leave because you say, Aranyam tena gantavyam, yatagriham yataranyam. You know the verse, Mata yasya grihe nasti. Mother ran away with some man. And Bharya cha apriyavadini. Wife is speaking harsh words, sharp words. Aranyam tena gantavyam. Such a person should go to sannyasa, forest sannyasa. Yata aranyam yata griham. Home only has become so bad, like a forest. Better go to sannyasa order. But in his case, a very loving mother, Sachimata. She is known for Bengali loving mother, Prabhupada says. And also, wife was also submissive, cooperative. Politically also, he was a very great leader. And even as a teacher also, he was very successful in Chatushpati. He was one of the teachers who attracted maximum students also, who were attracted to his teaching Nyaya. So was he failure in any place? He could go to Bangladesh and demonstrate his scholarship also. And he got a lot of prizes and awards and accolades. But in that situation, he took sannyas. He says here, I shall leave family life and take sannyas and wander from village to village, town to town, preaching the holy name of Krishna. That was his decision. And within a few days, he went to Katwa to take sannyas from Keshav Maharaj. Correct, no? Yeah. All of you recite together. Tyaktva turnamasheshamandalapate shrenim sada tuchhavat bhutva ganesha kau karunaya kaupina kantha shrito. And then what is the next one? Radha Krishna Ravinda Bhajana Nandena Mattalikau Vande Rupa Sanatanau Raghuyugau Shri Jiva Gopalakau. See, Raghunath Das was born in an aristocratic family. Their yearly earning was like something like 15,000 gold coins or something. Not currency notes, gold coins. Rup Sanatan, when they left their ministerial post, they had one boat full of gold coins. Can you imagine? Actually, a palm full of gold coins are enough for our whole life. And they had boatload of gold coins. So, crore, multi-millionaires, billionaires they were. You will see that. And Gopal Bhatta was born in a pure family in South, Venkata Bhatta's son. Correct, no? Raghunath Bhatta was born to Tapan Mishra. Pure family also. So, some of them belong to very pure family or aristocratic families. But they left everything and wore lion clothes and they became mendicants in Vrindavan. And you can see them. For the sake of Mahaprabhu, gave them 4 instructions. Excavate the holy places, erect the temples, worship the deity, write spiritual literature based on all the scriptures and bring the bhakti conclusions in a very succinct way. So all the people can follow. Set a good example. They perfectly followed it. So here is the example of some rich person. Sometimes it is often difficult for him to. It is said you can put an elephant into the eye hole of a needle, but not a rich man become chant Hare Krishna. Because very difficult. They will give you a donation, but they won't become devotee. But these people left everything, became devotee. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's influence. Srila Prabhupada ki, Bhakta Vrinda ki. So you will remember those 5 things I told you. What is missionary spirit? Compassion, urgency, taking spiritual anxiety, cooperation and team spirit, taking personal pain for the welfare of others. Correct, no? One last point I will say and conclude. Taking personal pain for the welfare of others. When Lord Krishna in Vrindavan was wandering in the forest, once he took his friends and he showed them the trees. He called them the names. He Stoka Krishna, He Amsho Shrida Mansubalarjuna, Pashyate Etan Mahabhagan, Parartai Kanta Jivitan. He says, Vata Varshata Pahiman, Sahanto Variyantinaha. Exactly this word he uses. He says, Sahanto Variyantinaha, tolerating personal pain, they give benefit to others. And what benefits he says? Pashyate Etan Mahabhagan is calling the trees as Mahabhaga. Greatly fortunate trees. Why? He's saying, Para Artai एकांत जीवितान. दूसरों को भलाई करने के लिए ही ये जीता है. Parartai ekanta jivitan. They have no other personal purpose. Like a tree is making mangoes. Is he going to eat the mangoes? No. Whether green mango or reddish mango. Both have their benefits, right? Green mango you can use also, correct? They make one pickle also they make, one soup also they make, one juice also. Correct, no? What do you call it? Parna they make. And also ripe mango, needless to say. Is very famous. Correct, no? So it's giving mangoes, it's giving tree branch, for the firewood, it's also giving flowers, it's also giving tree barks, it's giving gum. It is also becoming shelter for the birds to make nest. Sometimes a woodpecker pokes hole in the tree doesn't mind, he gives him shelter. He doesn't say your poking hole get lost, he doesn't say that. And even the tree is cut down, it gives its body for the service of others. Even after death, our body is actually only burned, whereas tree's body can be used as making tables. You can see that. And also in winter season, it tolerates the cold and gives us warmth. Summer season tolerates the heat and gives us shade. Like that he says. So Lord Krishna is praising the tree. So he's saying, like tree we should live with. That means tolerate personal inconveniences for the supreme spiritual welfare of others. That's the point. So you all can keep these things in mind. This is to inspire us to become more missionary spirited, especially in this month which is coming up now. Marathon is November 15th in Pune we started. So with great enthusiasm, please participate in the marathon till mid-Jan. Up to that, okay? Shri Prabhupada ki. Thank you. Thank you very much. Any questions? One hand is up. Please go ahead from Bangalore. Yeah. Narasimha and Hemang Haladar Prabhu. Go ahead.
Am I audible, Puji?
Yeah, you are. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Puji. It was very, very beautiful presentation. It will help us a lot in serving Prabhupada nicely. My question is regarding this point about missionary spirit means spiritual
This
anxiety.
presentation was prepared by,
in my personal,
this presentation was prepared by His Holiness Bhakti Prachar, what is his name? Bhakti Prachar Parivrajak Maharaj. Yeah. He got it done from one Kanpur boy. And I added some headings and other things to this. That's my small contribution, but Maharaj has made it. I recently saw him presenting somewhere, I requested him, he gave. So beautiful it is. So very succinctly presented. Go ahead.
yeah, thank you. So, Puji, my question was regarding taking spiritual anxiety, which is a part of missionary spirit. I observed that many times a lot of responsibility it is given and it is expected that we plan and execute also.
Yeah.
But if I have I take that anxiety and I plan many things, but I'm not able to execute it, and because of that, that absorption in our chanting, hearing goes down. Even though after knowing that I'm not the doer, actually I'm just.
Therefore, we should not plan too much. We should not plan too much. See, if you are going to study in a college, 1 hour study, you should plan only 3 minutes only. 3 to 4 minutes maximum planning, and get into study immediately. Some boys plan for the whole year, whole semester, and they end up not getting time to study only. Planning. Some in companies also, some people plan for such a long time that technology only changes. Imagine somebody is planning, I will make a very nice facility for putting the audio tapes. Then later on, I was also having one very big display for audio tapes, So at one time I had 1,000 tapes called BRR. We had Bhaktivedanta Reading Room, We had 1,000 tapes in those days. Then I was planning to procure 500 more tapes. But then at that time I came to know that now technology has changed now. They are having now something like a chapati, round one. Anybody knows what is it? CD player. Everybody was roaming with that CD player. They said lot of tapes you can put inside. Then immediately I started selling the tapes. We gave it on auction. Anybody can buy. Very cheap price we sold. We emptied it. And then we purchased some 5 or 10 round that, what do you call it? CD players. Yeah. I kept. And then we were using it for 6 months only. Suddenly we found a boy bringing a pen type of thing here. He called pen drive, I said, what is it? He said, flash player. He said, what is flash player? He said, Prabhu, instead of round one, now it's coming like this. You can store it like this, he said. Then immediately we disposed all of that. We switched to this one, flash player. Later on, people showed us, they have a small CD-ROM. You can have 50,000 songs in that. Very small chip kind of thing. What do you call memory card? I have a small memory card in which I can have the entire Prabhupada lectures, So, times have changed now. Technology is changing. Imagine if you're planning too much. Therefore, don't plan too long. Things are changing in the world very fast. Plan a little bit and go ahead. Similarly, book distribution you are planning. Okay, you choose a place. Like one boy was telling, Prabhuji, let us write down all the pros and cons of different places in Pune going. Pros and cons you can do when you are in the book table only. Nobody is coming, that time you can be writing. Be there, be available for people. Because other organizations have gone way ahead, many of them. They have got a lot of money, they have put up big facilities. And they are also reaching, and certain organizations, they have got into universities also. 10, 15 universities, they are affiliated courses they have. Now Gaurang Prabhu said, we have to wake up now, we also have to. And similarly, when many organizations got into media, and ISKCON came late. ISKCON got into media mostly during COVID time. They woke up. They understood that, sitting within 4 walls, how are you going to preach? Then the Zoom lectures came and all that. So, We need our presence in all the different avenues where people can connect with us. So don't make too many plans. Make a little plan. If you are too much a planner, you should do little plan and then execute. If you are too much a workaholic, then you should plan. We should be very this thing, yeah. All right.
Puji, that thinking big is a part of, means how to reconcile.
Thinking
You should
big
think
doesn't
big
mean
and-
thinking long. You think big in a quick time, short time. Like Prabhupada was very quick. Like Prabhupada came to India, he told them to Harinam Sangeet in Calcutta. People are throwing coins. Prabhupada said people are thinking that we are also one Kirtan group in Calcutta, because in Calcutta and Odisha also there are Kirtan group mandalis. So they thought this is also one more mandali, they thought. They didn't know ISKCON is a preaching organization. Then Prabhupada told them, you stop that and come to temple, let us put up another program called Life Membership. Prabhupada conceived it in no time. Just because he's thinking big doesn't mean he was thinking very slow. He was thinking big, thinking quick, both. And then Prabhupada announced, anybody who becomes life member, I will come to your house to take prasad. Prabhupada said, big competition. Immediately thousands of people said, we want you to come to our house, we will become life member. Like that it came up. And Prabhupada told the devotees to organize that. Prabhupada was very smart in making plan. He was certainly thinking big, but he didn't take too much time. Once 1965 to 77, if you see the way he read his books, you will come to understand what kind of plans he made, how swiftly he acted like lightning. All right? Okay,
There's one last clarification.
Okay, quick.
So whole day, apart from our morning program, the whole day there should be thoughts of service going on, or just we sit with pen and paper and write it down and get it executed, and remaining time
Why
we
should you
think
be
of.
sitting and thinking all day? Who told you to think like that? I don't know. You should be acting. You should do activity. Arjuna was sitting and thinking a battlefield, or he was acting? Imagine if he's thinking, his head will be gone. Correct, no? You are living in such a world. Actually, my suggestion to Hemangardhar Prabhu, you don't plan. You just tell your boss to plan and give you. You just act. That's all. You do it. Because some people are paralysis by analysis. You say, no? They become paralyzed by too much thinking. Such people, I would suggest them to stop thinking. Stop thinking and start acting. Then they may ask, but how to act? Ask your boss. Whatever he says, you do. That's all. That saves your time. You understand, no?
Okay.
You just start acting. There's one more hand up next, yeah. Shashikant, Mayapur. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna, go ahead.
Guruji, in the class,
Yeah, go
in the
ahead.
class we heard Guruji that the karmis, jnanis, and yogis, they are respectively on the platform of body, mind, and intelligence.
Correct.
But then in the presentation, we saw that Prabhupada mentioned that our organization will grow through intelligence and organization.
Correct.
So I always had this doubt, and you mentioned that devotees they transcend these three platforms.
Correct. Because
So how do we understand?
devotees give their heart to Krishna. When you give a heart to somebody, then intelligence, mind, senses, all of them follow the heart. For example, imagine, in a college, a boy and girl are studying. Sometimes a boy loves a girl and he asks the parents, can I marry that girl? They agree. Then you will find he will give, earlier he might have given her a book or a notebook. But now if he is giving the heart, he will give her a house, he will give her a car, he will give himself. Correct, no? His whole body, mind, words, everything he gives to her. So therefore in Krishna consciousness, it includes senses, mind, intelligence, ego, and the soul also. Everything is handed over to Krishna. Kayena vacha manasendriyairva buddhyatmana va prakrite svabhavat karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai narayana yeti samarpayet. Like that. Correct, no? You understand that?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. There's one more hand. Anup Prabhu. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Am I
Dhanyavad.
audible?
Audible, yeah.
Guruji, thank you for a very inspiring lecture on distribution and having compassion. Guruji.
Yeah.
Actually, I had some little ground question that actually we now in the yoga scenario like city, we have devotees working, going for office. So hardly we get time in the Monday to Friday kind of.
What do you do in the office? You preach and you distribute books in the office also.
No, means we are not started preaching yet in office.
In office, actually, see, there are two approaches you can take in the office. One is declare to everybody you are a Hare Krishna devotee. Huh? And you go to the temple, you are very inspired by ISKCON and Prabhupada books, everything. It's an open culture. You can have. Or another thing is, you may not tell all these things because that may be damaging to your job. Huh? People will create trouble for you, or you are not strong enough to tackle the arguments which will come around you. Then you don't reveal yourself as a devotee. Correct, no? If you are very nicely situated in a philosophy, especially your job, you should do very well. If you are very popular for being a pakka man in the company, your boss is happy, equals are happy, then you can be a very bold devotee. You can actually take some thin books with you in the office in the lunchtime. You can give one book to them. See this coming back. See this SSR or see these books. You can give them and distribute. And that gives you a chance to glorify Krishna and also preach to the other colleagues. Some of them you may not know. There are many devotees hiding in your office. When you give the moment you give book, they will all pop up one by one. So many people will become devotees. I had given hundreds of books in my office. Actually, in my department, everybody had Prabhupada books. In my department. Then later on, one devotee told me that he has a friend in another department. So lunchtime, he took me to that department also. So there I went. When I was speaking, immediately, 10, 15 people came and surrounded. And next day, I brought books for all of them. Yeah. So I was going, in my company, different people introduced me to different departments. I went. So somebody came and complained to my boss that your man is distributing books in the company. My boss said, what is the problem? He's doing in lunchtime, he's doing in personal time. He's doing his job very pakka. What's the problem? The boss asked. Yeah? Then they said, sorry. They went. So therefore, you will get support from your boss provided you are pakka in your job, correct, no? Like you see this, our Leela Purushottam Prabhu. He is very pakka in his computer science teaching. He is such a famous professor. He is going to MIT, Massachusetts to, teach students on robotics and, animatronics and artificial intelligence and subjects like that. If an Indian professor is being called by an American institute from MA, Massachusetts, not an ordinary thing. He must be a very, very fundu man, very talented man. So therefore, in IIT, he wears dhoti kurta in the morning and evening. His home is called ashram, There are 40, 50 boys come in the morning, evening also. And they're chanting and dancing like anything in any ISKCON temple. And they get prasad, and he gives classes. And everybody knows in the campus that this professor is a preacher of Krishna consciousness. Nobody can say anything. Because he's pakka in his field. Now he put 4 of his students as professors, and he has gone to Mandi. And the IIT Mandi has become a director there. And he's starting. I told about this last time. So you can see that you can be, if you are good in your job, then you have no fear that they'll throw you out of the job. In fact, there is a story from Gulf I heard. One Muslim owner of a company saw that some Hindus are wearing different type of tilak and coming. So he made a policy, anybody wearing tilak will be thrown out of the job. So all people rubbed off their tilak and put their kantimalas inside, and they put their stiff neck, this thing, they put this collar and they came. They didn't want to show that they are devotees. One fellow had a beautiful tilak and came to the company. So immediately complaint went to the boss. Owner asked, okay, how is that fellow? Is he contributing to company or not? They said, sir, he is a very vital fellow. Because he is the one whose ideas are making our company flourish. Then he said, make an announcement. Except him, nobody can wear tilak. It's a true story. Just see. That means, if you are good in your job or studies, you are a responsible fellow, then there is no reason for anyone to blame you. So let us conclude now. It's time, almost 8:30. So Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta ki. Thank you very much.